Hi, welcome to Universal Interiors. I'm Leslie Engelstad, and today I get to do a little sharing with you, and I'm always really excited about that. I do want to just mention that I get so many different people and opportunities to just visit with you when you stop and say, hey, I loved what I just saw, or boy, what you mentioned on your show. And so there's these comments that come at me, and I'm so grateful for them. And I also, if I had more time, I would love to hear what you were thinking when you heard some of that. Because you see, when I get to do this and I get to share, it's kind of coming from my eyes, right? From my perspective. But I know when you all hear different words or messages or things that you picked up on, I would love to know that perspective. You see, a big part of life is what we have. Do we have a good perspective, the right perspective? And of course, it'll differ from person to person. But the right perspective is something that I think we need to challenge ourselves with. Like, why has all this been happening? Why the pain? Why the hurt? You know, just there's so many different areas that we could just challenge ourselves, and perhaps they meant it like that. Or maybe I just heard wrong because I was kind of feeling this. See, there's a lot of challenges that we need to do to ourselves. And it doesn't matter your age. It really doesn't. I think we need to challenge ourselves. I know that I perhaps have even mentioned that before, but in the Alcoholics Anonymous, they do something called HALT. And that means if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. That's an acronym, right? HALT. If you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, you're going to be a little bit more uptight, perhaps, or you're going to be a little bit more hurt in your feelings. So you got to stop, or halt, as I was saying, and check your perspective. Oh, that's right. You know what? I am really hungry. That's probably why I'm feeling this way. It sure helps. It really does. But there's many things we can take with the word perspective. And that is if you, the glass half full, half empty, right? Some say you're born one way or the other. I say you can work on getting your eyesight so that you're all looking at life with a half full side. Because no matter what your age, you got a purpose here. You do. I'd love to challenge you. I got this little fun book, and in it there's a story. This author named Andy Andrews has written all sorts of little fun books, and usually they're fictional that I've read, but such storytellers, such a great insight by telling a story. And he has one, and it's called The Noticer, I believe, and he has written this book, and this is one of the examples that are in the book. He said, there I was. This man says, hey, how about we meet at the ocean and have a little feast? Well, I get there. That feast? Vienna sausage and sardines. I was shaking my head, wondering what was up with this. Puzzled and a little annoyed that it turned out this way. He looked at me and he said, what? He said, you know, young man, you see only the sand here at your feet, and what you're eating, and that you were wishing it was something else. I'm not trying to rebuke you. You've got a very ordinary way to look at this, because most people are just like you. Kind of disgusted with themselves, perhaps, for what they are, or what they eat, or what they drive. Most of us never stop and think that there might be literally millions out there in this world that don't have any of our blessings or our opportunities. You see, they don't even have food, and there you are grumbling. They don't even own a car. You might be grumbling about that. And some, they don't even have any hope. But then he looked at me and he said, incidentally, you were eating the sardines and the Vienna sausages there in the sand? Well, you see, I was having a little surf and turf with an ocean view. There you have it. It's all about perspective. I thought that was such a cool story, and it has stuck with me, and I found it in one of his many other books. And in this story, you're picturing a man just like going, okay, I'll meet you. He's taking time out, and this man in the noticer happens to be one that doesn't have much of anything, but he's always finding something to be happy about. And it kind of drove this fella crazy. And there he is. Sardines, really? But he says to him, you know, why? Why do you choose to look at life that way? You could stop your tracks and just go, wow, what I have is worth a smile. You know what? It's not a surprise that God gives you the parents that He's given you. Or the kids. Because in His grand design, there's something better. You see, it's a perspective, really. There's a story that was taught years ago to me, and that's about a tapestry. And I love it so much because in that tapestry picture, a lot of our life, you're looking at it and trying to go, what sense did that make? This is so hard. Not anything. I've got like 5 things in a row. Really? All at once? When it rains, it pours? I mean, how many of us have said that? How many of us think that even maybe right now? Or you're sitting there feeling so hopeless, maybe at the end of your days. You know? What do I got to look forward to? Well, you see, that's where we got to get that perspective back. Getting back to my tapestry story, many times we'll never get it figured out because we're looking at the back side of that tapestry. But out front is that beautiful stitching, and it's writing this gorgeous story of our life. And yeah, you might not see very many gorgeous moments in your days, but guess what? If you live out of the right perspective, if you go, I wonder what God's got for me today, just wait. It's going to be exciting. It really is. I mean, I get stuck. But a lot of days I do get to take that trip because I've allowed God to do that for me. One of the things I have been finding lately is to say, can you reveal this to me? And I'll start my day. Reveal. I keep saying that word, but I think it's not until I got that into my vocabulary lately is that I'm understanding that all these coincidences or misfortunes or things that make me, for real? What? That just broke? Things like that. It's like, okay, so that's a moment. I wonder what that was all about. Sometimes it makes you go to a store, or maybe it makes you switch projects. You know, whatever it might be, if you can stop and ponder that there might be something better for you this day than what you thought you were supposed to be part of. See, that's why if we could approach life that way, I think we'd find a lot more joy days and sad days. And again, yes, I do love that word joy because it is something that makes sense. And you that are parents or that have been parents, I'm going to challenge you on this because why wouldn't you want your kid to just have a really good day, right? There's a lot of things. Maybe 80% of the day of that kid, before he sees you after school maybe, has been pretty tough. You know, I work in a high school. I watch how kids treat kids. Sometimes it's so sad. And I wonder how many times can they come home, especially in the high school years, do they come home and really open up to their moms and dads and just say, oh, well, maybe we as parents or grandparents for that matter, maybe we can help shift that little focus of these young, I mean, I'm not saying just high school, my goodness, middle school years, even those beautiful elementary kids, something tough might have happened, but maybe if you listen to it, give them some empathy, but at the same time, but you know what, maybe that person over there didn't have anybody like you have. You know, just let's get everybody's mindset going somewhere else than down that trail. Because it's easy to go negative, you know that. It really is. And it's easy to get caught up in conversation that really isn't glorifying, that really isn't helping you. It might, we call it venting. I'm not saying you can't do that. I do it. But learn to say when to that, right? And then stop and pause and then ask God to reveal to why that happened to you or why you're going through some of the stuff you have been going through lately. There's just so many opportunities to turn the tide, and I think it comes with a perspective, the way we see things. I know sometimes I don't wear my glasses very often. Sometimes it's because I can't find them, but I don't need them that often. But I do the squinting thing, and sometimes my eyes get tired from looking close. But boy, you put on that pair of specs, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, that clears up matters. Just watched a cute Little House on the Prairie the other day, and one of those beautiful kids had to get glasses, and once she did, she goes, it's like a whole new world. I love that, and that stayed with me now, and I'm thinking along this lines of perspective. Try again. Try to put those new rose-colored glasses on sometimes when you can't figure out what is good about life today. I want to challenge you on that, because you know what? Life is beautiful. It's a gift denied to many. So make use of it today, okay? Give some of it away. Help people have a better perspective. And joy will surely come your way. Thanks again for tuning in. Make it a great day.